This episode's great for drummers, artists, and aspiring influencers.
Oh, I can't remember what one it was, but it was like a few cymbal hits and like a few kicks, and I was like, I'm not playing that song, I'm sorry. There's like nothing in there for me to play.
Mikaela Swan is a Brisbane-based drummer playing in 4 different bands while also maintaining a career as a visual artist.
And everyone's like, when's the song coming? I'm like, I have 60,000 songs to get through, guys. I just put it on shuffle. I don't even worry what comes up. What comes up, comes up.
In this week's episode, we've talked about being a drummer on social media.
What if I like focus all my attention on social media because it's like the biggest marketing platform like today.
Gross DMs.
Every single video that I do, there's at least 1 foot comment.
And managing 2 creative careers at once.
But I really did enjoy, I guess, like drawing on my bedroom walls. And I started doing that a lot. And I was like, okay, this is a really, really cool way of venting to myself.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Mank, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray.
Hello, Frank.
And we are joined by the incredibly talented musician and artist and multidisciplinary wonder kid, Mikaela Swan.
That's not funny.
What do you mean? I feel like that was a good descriptor.
That was a good description, but then it was just like too many words.
Too many. What do you?
It was perfect. I think it was great.
I think I nailed that.
I think it was spot
I think
on.
that was really good.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Hello, Mikaela. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I came from I've only done like 2 of these. So.
2 interview things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this
You'll
will
do
be
great.
Interesting.
You'll do great.
Yep.
Normally, do you want to do your own bio or do you want me to do your bio?
Yeah, let's not do my own bio.
Okay. So, Mikaela is a drummer for Dizzy Days, Staples, and what's the third one?
Happy Valley and Lounge.
Oh, there's 4 now. I swear it was 3 like the other day.
No, 4 bands since the start of the year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So Mikaela's a drummer for 4 bands and also a painter and like designer, I guess. What's the word? Like multi. What's the thing when you do
Visual arts?
Visual arts, yeah.
That's the one I was looking for.
Nice broad.
Yeah. Is that most of it?
Yeah, that's pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
I only do the music and the art.
Only do the music and the art. So what was first?
Definitely definitely the music. Because I've always done that since I was younger. And wait, should I go into the whole story?
Yeah, like
Go
fully
into the
go whole story, go tangents and stuff.
Okay.
Just
hold it up to I'll be like Tom, I'll swing it around.
Yeah.
That jokes. Let's not do that. Yeah, basically music definitely came first. Happened ever since I guess Dad like started playing Slipknot when I was a baby. And I was like that kid on the, like the little baby mats they have where you like chuck your baby on. They kind of just sit there and play in the toys. Except Dad like always put on Slipknot and I'd always be like this the whole time. And I think he knew I was kind of meant to be maybe a bit of a musician. She's like, oh, she has a bit of rhythm. And then a few years later came Christmas and they, Mum and Dad gave me like high five like music set. Like you had your like recorder, your tambourine, your plastic little drum and everything. And obviously I chose the plastic drum because that interests me the most. And I remember because we have like photos of me literally just like with my mouth open.
just banging away like a little...
yeah. And then came grade 3 and then my parents decided, okay, maybe we'll, invest in some drum lessons and see what happens. Obviously did that for a few years, more so like your theory, your reading and all that stuff, which was okay. I didn't really take a lot of interest to it. I was like one of those kids who got lessons and were like, yeah, I'll practice. Then comes back and they're like, did you practice? And I'm like, no, I actually didn't. But I still play it. And then it's just like, no, you really can't play it. I did that for a very long time. I just didn't play the drums at all. And my parents got me like a little electronic kit to practice on. And then it wasn't till probably about like grade 7 that my dad was like, hey, we're paying for lessons, you're literally not using them, and you're not playing the drum kit. If you're not going to play the drums, might as well sell your kit. And get rid of the lessons because we're just wasting our money here. You're going in and you're not practicing and you're learning a new piece of theory or the same theory for the same like month, which you usually do like in drum lessons. You kind of learn the same thing for a month and then you kind of get the hang of it. Some people move on quicker. Depends.
Other people stay on the same
thing for a really long time.
And then other people don't practice.
Sorry?
And then other people don't practice.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
And that kind of hit hard and I was like, oh, okay. I do like the drums, but I hate practicing. And then I kind of found my own way about it. Obviously, you know, Dad gave me a bit of a challenge. He was like, I bet you can't play... I think my first song on the drums was Powderfinger. It was I've Got You on My Mind.
Banger.
He would, like, I was this little kid and he was like, I bet you can't play it. And I was like, deal, Dad. I'm going to play it. I'm going to come back. And that's like literally how I started getting myself into drums and practicing. And just like learning from playing 2 songs. And I came back and I played that. And he was just like, okay. That was impressive. I'll give it to you. And then the other one was Midnight Oil, Best of Both Worlds, I think it is. That really, really hard song that goes for like 6.5 minutes. I was like, okay, bet I got this too. So I did that for a few years. So it really started to get serious in like your grade 9, 10 area. And then I also started art in grade 10 as well when we got to senior grade. I was still trying to figure out my style. I did a lot of like abstract kind of like animations and a few sculptures and things like that. It didn't really, again, like I liked it, but it wasn't something I was like, yeah, I'll do that as a profession. Whereas the drums, I was like, yeah, I definitely do. So that continued. And obviously, you know, I started to get better from just playing constantly to covers all the time. And then it was once I left school, I discovered an artist called Emerson Burrett, who's like a famous drummer and also an artist as well. And I was like, oh, it's actually kind of like me. That was pretty much like in a pretty like dark stage for my life. So I found like, I guess myself within that artwork and his band's music. I related to both of those really well. And I like kind of used the way he portrayed emotions in his painting as like a doorway into his mind and soul and a way of coping, I guess. And I kind of like did that as well, and started drawing all over my bedroom walls, literally just whenever I was just feeling down or if I was happy as well. It was just like my whole bedroom is basically just all my emotions on my walls, and it's pretty raw and emotional for me, but like it's the beginning of, I guess, my art stage as well as the music, and so both of those kind of progressed from there, and now I'm still doing it. So I guess it's a profession now.
And then I never stopped.
It never stopped.
So it's really interesting that you
Long
said
story.
that you kind of no. You can go longer if you want.
Sure. Okay.
It's interesting that you said about how it was kind of like what pulled you out of that dark period in your life. Do you think that you would have found something else that would have pulled you out of that, or do you think like this was the only way that you would have kind of? Obviously, I don't know what that period of your life was, but do you think that was the only way that could have gotten through that?
I think because, like, I mean, I still struggle with it. I guess, like, discussing my emotions as a whole. So I think art was a pretty good way of being able to get my emotions out and, you know, like, vent personally to, like, myself. Because, like, being in school, I didn't really have a lot of friends or anything. So I was, like, spending a lot of my time by myself with lunches, like, in lunch times and morning teas and after school and all that. So I was like, okay, art, you know, I get to be by myself. I get to express myself. And, yeah, it definitely got me out of that dark place for a time being. And just, like, it obviously was, like, a coping mechanism for me. So. And it makes interesting art.
Yes. And then what happened then? So you got through that kind of period. How did you get from there to where you are now, where it's like what you do?
Well, I did that for a really, really long time, and then uni gave me a few more skills on top of that. So I obviously got all the art and like skills and things like that. Tried different mediums.
Did you do fine art at uni?
No, I just did fine art as a minor, so it wasn't a major. I just like chucked on the side because I was like, oh yeah, I'm still like majorly invested in the music, and I was like, art's cool, I'll do that on the side. And I picked up more skills from that. And then I kind of like was seeing someone at the time as well. It was a bit of an arse. I feel like anyone who's going to watch this will know who it is, but I'm not going to mention. Anyways, bit of an arsehole. And I went down again and I was like, well, this is kind of crappy. Went back to my art and I was like, oh, okay. Well, one thing that clicked in my head at the moment, I was like, okay, I've realized within the last year of graduating school, actually it was a year and a bit, I was like, you can't like wait for opportunities to come to you. You gotta like kind of like go forward and actually find them yourself. You know, they're not just gonna land in your hand. And that kind of realization came after I got broken up with. I didn't do the breaking up with, sadly. Would have been satisfactory, but I think I needed it. So
You can just lie.
No,
okay, fair enough.
Just full straight honesty.
I respect it.
And yeah, so I had that realization, but I also had kind of like a screw you moment. I was like, what if I like focus all my attention on social media? Because it's like the biggest marketing platform like today. And I was like, what if I get like really, really big and like super famous? I was not expecting it to happen. I was just like, yeah, it's a thought. And then I could just be like, yeah, screw you. I'm like, thousands and thousands of people know me now and no one knows you. So go suck it. And then I did a bit of a business course. I did like consumer behavior and psychology and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Can kind of use that with my social media. So I did like 2 months of like really, really extensive research, like your background in your videos, your lighting, your like what coloured clothes you wear, like what will appear to most people's eyes, your times, songs, like audience, like pretty much just figuring out my exact audience that I wanted with my social media. Obviously, you know, being a drummer, there's a lot of like males that do follow it. Like obviously the female ratio is getting a lot bigger now, which is actually really, really cool. That's what keeps me going on the social media. Is really cool when I get messages like that saying, oh, okay, like you helped me start drums or pick up a passion that I really, really like and share it with other people. And I was like, this is honestly what keeps me going. Anyways, bit off the track there. Come back. So yeah, I did that. Few videos in and I kept going with that and just readjusting to see what worked, what didn't work, and just recreating that. And then all of a sudden it was just like I went from having like 2,000 followers to 161,000 and I was like, that is crazy.
Oh, did I not tell you that?
I knew you had a lot, but I didn't realize it's that much. Yeah.
That's on Instagram, and then TikTok's 141.
1,000 or
yeah,
just 141
1,000.
people?
Yeah, 141 people, you know. It's pretty big.
It's pretty big. I don't know if you've heard of this little app called TikTok, but 141 people is like a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We get 141. Yeah, the thousands. And then that's kind of kicked off my music career, helped me find the 4 bands that I have today. Because literally all my bands wouldn't have found me if I didn't start posting just like little drum covers and things like that. All of them reached out and they're like, oh, hey, we really like your covers. Do you want to come for a jam? And I'm like, yeah, sure thing. And then some work, some don't. You know, you can go through a few. But I am so grateful that I did start the social media because it gave that platform to connect with other people. And same with the art, is I was able to start my own art business and run that online and like in person as well, which is pretty amazing. So yeah.
What were the biggest things that you learnt, like from that 2,000 to 160,000 journey? Like, what would you say, like the top 3 things
that I learned?
That you learnt that really made an impact on, I don't know, that number going up, I guess.
I think the biggest thing was listening to my audience and responding to comments and just like engaging with other people. I think a lot of people did enjoy when they were like, yeah, can you play this? And, you know, I would play that. And it would make people happy, and then they'd share it with their friends saying like, oh, look, they're playing like my favourite song kind of thing. That is still like pretty much the biggest thing that I've learnt. It's gotten a bit hard now because I've compiled a list and it's gotten up to 60,000 songs. And now,
whoa.
and everyone's like, when's the song coming? I'm like, I have 60,000 songs to get through, guys. I just put it on shuffle. I don't even worry what comes up. What comes up, comes up. And I just go with it. So,
Oh my goodness. You should make a reel or a TikTok like about that list.
I should. Honestly, that's an idea. I'm going
Yeah.
to do that next week.
Awesome. Done.
Just make a list. But guys, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten around to your request. I will get there.
I will do 10 seconds of 6 songs, all right? 60-second reel.
3 years later, I may complete the list. But every video I do, a new song comes up and I'm like, well.
Every day I do 6 songs in one reel. It's 60 seconds long. That's it. That's all you get. you get the first 4 bars of a song.
The first 4 bars could literally be like 5 seconds. Depending how fast it is. Yeah, some songs are like
It's
that.
just a 4-bar rest.
Honestly, some requests I've gotten, like the song is just like, it could be like kick and snare. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to play that. So like if it comes up and there's not a lot of drums, maybe I'll like,
Can you play We Will Rock You by Queen?
I have gotten that request before. I'm not even joking. It's in there. And I was like, look, I can. But like some songs, I can't remember what one it was, but it was like a few cymbal hits and like a few kicks. And I was like, I'm not playing that song. I'm sorry. There's like nothing in there for me to play.
Would you ever do one of them just as a meme though?
Sorry?
Would you ever do a song like that as a meme?
Honestly, I could start doing memes. That's maybe going to be smooth.
Yeah, I reckon you should.
I would love that.
Okay.
So much.
I'll do a meme on TikTok.
It's
and I'll
just
tag
you
in it.
constantly like going for the cymbals, but then like
And
you
then
don't
just not
actually.
doing it.
You don't. It's just,
Jokes. Oh wait, it's not sad. I'm actually not playing this song.
It's like singing that tequila song.
yeah.
It's like that.
I've gotten that request too, and I'm like, excuse me.
That would bang. 100%. That would bang.
Okay, I'll put it on my list.
But then you missed
Of
the
immediate
tequila.
songs. Yeah. I think the first time, like when I go through songs and practice them, like sometimes I just completely miss like the intro. Like that would be me doing tequila. Like I'd be like, yeah, I got it, and then I go to press record, and it'll be like tequila. And I'm like, oh shit, I just missed it.
It's so funny that you said that about like the bands not having found you without your social media following, because we had Aisling on last week who said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, we messaged Mikaela and we were like really nervous because I didn't think that she'd like reply. And that she was really stoked. It was really sweet.
I think they messaged me and it did take me 3 weeks to respond to them. So they probably thought, I guess it was a good try, but we didn't get there. Yeah, no, it's just because I had so many like messages, like DMs. There's just too many. I mean, I try and go through them like once a week, but there are a lot and it takes me a while to get through. And some of them I just completely missed. Like I think I read them and I'm like, maybe I didn't. So it did take me 3 weeks to get back to Aisling, but we got there in the end. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. Originally I was just like filling in because our drummer can't make it. Do you want to be our drummer? And I think originally I said, I don't know, man, I'm pretty busy. But then I went in, had a rehearsal with them, and I was like, okay, this actually feels really cool. I like the style. I'll stick around for a little bit more. And then I was like, no, I definitely want to be in this band. Good decision because
It's funny. They kick out the other drummer, yeah.
Sorry?
They kick out the other drummer that didn't show up.
Yeah, I think she more so like wasn't interested in being the band and was a little bit unreliable. So she wanted to go her own way as well because she has her own project, which is fair enough. So then I was like, hey.
Yeah. So what makes you decide to join that band after you like go have a jam or whatever? What's the thing that makes you go, yeah, I want to stick around, or like or a big turn off? Or yeah.
Honestly, like I think for myself, if someone wants me to join a band, I'm like, yeah, I'll be a session player for a little bit. And like, I kind of make my mind up.
For people that are what does that mean?
Session player. Wait, do you not know? Okay, so a session player.
Just like, you know, if any of our audience doesn't know what a session player is.
Filmmakers in the room.
Yeah, basically a session musician is like so it more happens with solo artists. So it'll be like their project and they'll get people in to play their music. So it's like, for example, like Harry Styles. Like, it's just Harry Styles. Yeah, I know, he's got good music. I got to use the reference. But he's a solo artist because he writes all his songs, but his band will be session players that he gets in, right, because that it's like, it's not actually a band. But like, that's probably like one instant. Or the other instant will be, for example, with Dizzy Days or like a few bands, like their drummer has another gig because they'll be like spread across a few. And so they can't make it, so they'll get a session musician, which is kind of like a fill-in. They can learn songs really, really fast, and just you chuck them in and they play the gig, and then they go. Or it'll be the same with like music. So there was this guy who's a solo musician, and he didn't have a band, so he got me in to record an album for him. I did a few drum tracks, and then, you know, I just go. Or I've done session work for like Lucy, Nicole, a few, like Tom, John, like a few people, where the drummer's just like, yeah, I got a more important gig. So, I mean, it is true.
Well, yeah.
You know, if it is a really big gig compared to like a smaller gig, you know, you got to toss up your options. So you either say yes or no. And then if it is a really important gig for them, then they'll get another person in. So yeah, depending on the musician.
Yeah.
Most of the time it is solo artists. It's not really a band because the band's like, oh, but you know.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So then you do a couple session gigs with them.
Yeah, so like if I'm deciding what band I want to be, I guess like I kind of like, yeah, I'll like fill in and see if the vibe is like right. For example, like with most of my bands, actually, you kind of go like on a bit of a trial. You see how rehearsal runs. You see how well you jam with the other musicians, how well you gel, and like everything. And I guess just like how they behave as the band and how like organized they are. And if it's not a vibe, then you're just like, yes, you know, not for me. It's kind of like picking a job.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
You go in, you don't just like pick the first job you go into and you're like, yeah, cool, let's go. I mean, I did that when I was younger, but like that's but like that's different because you like when you're younger, you're like, yeah, just give me a job, I want money.
Yeah.
They ask you why you want this job, and you're like, oh, yeah.
I like buying things with money.
My first job was a coffee place. And they're like, why do you want this job? And I was like, I want just the knowledge of making coffee so I can make coffee for my dad. In reality, I was like, I just want a job, give me money.
I want to buy V-Bucks for Fortnite.
So, yeah, it's kind of just like walking in and seeing if it's a right fit for you. Like with anything really. I've had a few bands that I've played with and I thought, yeah, this is cool. I like them straight off the bat, but then, you know, further down the line, it was just like, okay, maybe it's actually not for me. I could have jumped into this too quickly. So I do give like at least 6 months because anything can happen between there.
Yeah.
But now I've found my little bands and I think that's set in stone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you had any like weird experiences from having like a fairly large social media following?
Many.
Go on.
I've had everything.
All right, I'm ready.
Everything. I've had the bullying, the harassment, the weird sexual messages that I don't want to even acknowledge.
Yeah, understandably
like
so.
Everything.
Right.
Still get them all the time, but I think like with having a social media, you kind of got to have that, I guess, that toughness of being able to just take it. Or like really, it's just like you're not going to be able to please everything. You know, not every person can please everyone. You know, it's just reality. Most of the time I get those messages, I either delete them or I ignore them and let my followers to just like personally attack them, because honestly it's a good read when you go back and you're like, nice. I think like the one video that I got a lot of bullying on, I did like a really cool like remix for Macca's jingle on TikTok. And they did that for the advertisement and things like that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll do that because I'm incorporating my music. It's not like I'm being like, go to Macca's, you know?
You're not like selling out.
Yeah, I'm not selling out. I'm still like, I'm just doing a jingle to it. That's all. Because it was celebrating 10 years or something. And a lot of my audience is from the US. So this was like strictly just went to Australians, like no one else but Australians. And like, I swear there was all these troll kids who just went on there and it was just like, oh, you suck. And you have so much arm hair, like just shave your hair. And like, I think most, like 75% of the comments were like, shave my arm hair. But like, and I'm not even hairy.
For the audio listeners, Mikaela just showed us her arm.
Like, I'm not hairy. It's just like the lighting, because it was in the afternoon because we did so many takes.
Yeah, 100% is just people being mean.
Yeah, I know. It was literally just the lighting, and Dad and I played it back, and I was like, it's like of a second. Like, how are people seeing this in point of a second? Like, you'd have to like pause it or save the video and go back and like scroll and literally just click on it to be able to and zoom in. Like, I was like, this is not like practical. Anyways, that was probably like the most hate. But then a lot of people, it was like also just saying you're a bad drummer, and I was like, thanks guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. But then you go back and you read them, and then like you have all your followers just like attack them, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd like to see you do better. Or like there'll be like other drummers who are like, yeah, it's actually kind of shit. But then other people will go onto their Instagram and they're like, yeah, the guy that posted like one drum video and decides to take it down. So I think it's, the hate comments I really just ignore. And then the DMs is actually kind of the scary thing. Actually, a lot of people like to see my feet, and it's weird. A lot of people who follow me for my feet. Honestly, you should start an OnlyFans for my feet.
I keep going to pick up the mic to say something to that, but I just don't have a response. Like, that's just so weird. So do people message you? Like, okay, the way that I've always imagined it.
No, this is in the comments, not messages.
Wait, people are just openly
like,
they're just like, damn, nice feet.
I can like bet you at least $5 every single video that I do, there's at least 1 foot comment.
That's wild.
At least one.
Wild. People are weird. That's so gross.
I'm not even joking. At least one in each video. I've gone through, because I respond now to like the first hour, just because like anything after an hour gets way too much, and it gets like in the 300 comments, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I check the first hour, but there's always at least 1 foot comment within there.
Have you had some weird like personal experiences, like you meet new people and they don't know that you have like that social media following, and then they like change to you after they figure that out? Or people that know when they meet you and then they're kind of like weird about it?
I mean, I don't like randomly go up to people and be like, yeah, I have just a massive following. Guys, just follow me. A lot of the time it's at gigs and people are like, oh my God, like that was a super cool gig. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, man. And we have like a chat, and I'm just like, oh yeah, no, like what's your Instagram? You seem pretty cool. Hit me up if you have a gig. I'd like to come along. And then we exchange like just profiles, and then it's always just like, oh, Jesus, I didn't think you actually had that many followers. And then they like do the scroll, and I'm just like, yep, cool, I'm just gonna go now, because I
know what this page looks like.
So I don't openly discuss that. I just kind of go along with daily life. Like, it's just social media, really. Numbers not really a value. But yeah, DMs, something different. Something different. I think that's the worst. Like, the comments are okay, but DMs are worse.
Do you have any from the DMs that you can share that aren't like horrific, or like just censor it?
I can give you a general basis.
Go on, give a general basis.
The amount of dick pics I've gotten, like now
Just totally,
just like nothing, just that, and they're like, "Hey, sweetheart," and I'm like, "No." But the thing is, like, I like opened the first one and I like instantly regretted it, and I was like, oh jeez. And like, so now every time someone sends me a message and it's a blocked image, I'm like instantly like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Like if it's a picture of your drum kit, I can't open an image that's censored anymore.
I can't risk it.
Yeah, because it's like I've opened about like 3 and they've all been the same thing, and I'm like, I don't want to see that, you know, like keep it to yourself. Also, what if I was a minor, guys? I'm almost 22, but like, what if I was a minor? Like, you're just sending.
You should just start replying like that.
I should be like, guys, I'm 16. Actually, everyone still thinks I'm 16 on social media. They like see me and they're like, oh, this chick's like 16. Like one guy will be like, oh, you're hot, and another guy will like respond to him and he's like, dude, she's like a child. And I'm like, no, I'm actually not, but you do you. That's cool. Other messages will be like how they want to get a picture of my foot or just touch it, and I'm like, cool. And then you'll like go down the sexual route and they explain, oh yeah, I just want to get with you and all those details. I'm like, thanks. Your face. Yeah. So
exactly
being a female drummer specifically, you get a lot of that because I'm very into it with my music. So people use that the wrong way, and I'm like, cool, thanks. But they're just like the bad ones. I do get a lot of good DMs, which, you know, is like, oh, you know, I really, really love your drumming. Or, you know, the really, really nice ones are like, I've been watching you from the start and I've shown my kids this and now they want to, you know, take up drum lessons and be a musician or that. Or like, it'll be other people just saying, oh, okay, you know, your social media has inspired me to share my passion on social media and get myself out there as well, or start my kind of like dream thing. Or, you know, other people just be like, okay, you play songs really, really cool, like this is epic, can you do this song? And I really, really like those comments. It's what keeps me going. So, you know, you get the good and bad and everything. So
how do you like harden yourself to those hate comments or the weird DMs, like before you delete them or like disregard them? How do you not let them get to you?
I think like I have that one comment from my dad that just like goes through my head all the time, just on instant repeat. Every time I see something and I'm like, okay, not cool, it kind of makes me feel a little bit shitty. Dad always kind of thinks, you know, like you do gotta have a bit of like that hard skin with the social media. You're not going to please everything. You think, you know, he always uses the reference of Justin Bieber for some reason. I'm like, nice, Dad.
Because Justin Bieber's sick.
But Dad's like, you know, not even Justin Bieber can please everyone. There's heaps of people that hate him and there's heaps of people that love him. And it's the same with everyone. Like, use any musician, any celebrity, whatever. You're always going to have heaps of people that you like you, and always people that dislike you, and they're going to give you hate comments all the time, or they'll be seeing you drum and that makes them I don't know, uncomfortable. Like people who say, oh, this sucks, and it's actually a good video because I've watched it multiple times. I'm like, yeah, this edit's good. There'll always be those people who are just, I guess, want to spread hate for the fact that, I don't know, it makes them insecure or something. So I think I just personally remind myself, hey, you can't please everyone. You just don't let it get to me. So I just take a good laugh and I'm like, yeah, could be a cool story later on.
Like right now.
Like right now.
For a podcast I'm going to do one day. It'd be a good story to tell. Yeah.
Exactly.
You were the first person, I think I said this on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, you were the first person that I became friends with here. And I was saying, like, we'd been friends for a while, and I didn't follow you in anything because I was like not following anyone that I knew on social media for a while there. And so I had no idea of any of that. All I knew was like you paint and you drum. That was as much as I knew about like who you were. And then I think it would be like 4 months into knowing you, I put you on the vlog. and someone commented on the vlog and they were like, I know her, like I follow her, I love her drumming, and like I'm gonna buy her art and blah blah blah. And I was like, wow, that's really weird, like small world.
I love that.
I was like, that's wild that like our circles would connect. And then I was like, I'm gonna go look, and then I was like,
wait,
this makes sense now.
was that the Beer and Cider Festival?
Yeah, no, it was before that. It was one of the vlogs where you were coming up and you were carrying all these big paintings. You were coming back from an exhibit, and you were like, if you want to buy the paintings, go to mictangle.com.
I remember that. Yeah, that would have been
Mikaela's paintings. Go to mictangle.com.
Probably was my first one at Emergence.
Yes,
it would have been that. Yeah.
It was that one. So I got that comment, and then that kind of put me down that rabbit hole, and I was like,
Jeez.
oh.
What?
Cool.
It was that not even that long ago.
I know. I didn't know for so long. That's what I was saying.
Dude.
Like, have you had weird experiences where people have like known from the start and like been weird about it, like been like clout chasing? Because Joe and I have said this before on the podcast. Like sometimes when people are artists and they know that we have a podcast, they act slightly differently towards us. Like they're like trying to make themselves seem more interesting than they are, so that we ask them to come on the podcast.
I love that.
Which is fine. Like I don't mind. Yeah. Like I'm always trying to book people for the show. But I don't know I don't know if you've ever had anything like that.
I mean, I pretty much just keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I kind of most times I meet people, if I don't like them, I'm just like, yeah, Seebs. But then if they do see my social media, you kind of do see that change. But I'm like, already like, I already don't like you as a person, like, so it doesn't matter. So
fair enough.
Yeah, most of the people that have changed by seeing my social media, I kind of like, I can see that, and I'm like, maybe I'll put you on the sus vibes. Yeah. And I have that kind of like period where I'm just like, do I like you or do I not like you? I mean, I like everyone.
You're a session friend for a couple months.
No. But like, I don't judge someone from first meeting them. I always like, okay, it's a first time meeting you. I may like you later, I may not like you. So I don't usually give out my social media till later on, and then you kind of see. I don't know.
Suss it out.
But I've never had really weird experiences with that. I mean, most of the time people are just like, oh yeah, that's cool. They got a lot, and that's all. So,
fair enough. Interesting.
I want to jump back a bit to art.
Yes.
So you like started doing art, like drawing on your walls at home. What made you keep going and to be where you are now doing it?
I think obviously, I was still discovering my style as well within that time period. But I really did enjoy, I guess, like drawing on my bedroom walls. And I started doing that a lot. And I was like, okay, this is a really, really cool way of venting to myself. And I started making a few pieces and obviously popped it on the social media and things like that. And then people really resonated with it as well. So I was like, oh, okay, like, obviously art makes me happy, so I'm going to keep doing this. That was just like an instant thought in my brain. I wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep doing it just because. It made me happy. It's kind of like my getaway from everything, from reality and things like that. I kind of just get to go in my brain and make myself my own little world. And then I guess when it comes to painting or drawing and everything, it's just like drawing out exactly what I've created for myself. And then, just sharing it with other people because, others just really, really enjoyed it. And then I just kind of kept going from there, and I'm still doing it. It's very vague, but yeah.
I started and then I kept
then
going.
I just keep going.
And now I'm still doing it.
I don't know. I just do really enjoy it a lot.
It's just kind of an escape for you in some way.
Yeah, definitely. I think if things are really, really stressful, it's a good thing just to, some nights I can literally be working till 9 and then I'll be like, okay, I can't go to sleep for another few hours. I might as well just go draw. And I think my artwork definitely does change depending on my moods. One of my friends, Jason, you know, he's been my best friend for like ages. And he'll know when I go up and down on my moods all the time. And he can see it in the artwork. He's like, oh, this artwork's pretty dark. And I'm like, yeah, not going through a great time, am I? And I guess you can kind of see it in a few instances. Some pieces will be really, really dark, and some pieces will be like a little bit lighter in a sense. But they're all kind of like really, really different. But yeah, I just always really enjoy it. It is definitely a way of escaping for me personally. So.
So art and drumming are both kind of a way for you to escape from.
Yeah, drumming is definitely a big enjoyment for me as well. Obviously, you know, it is that music is a way of escaping anything really. Music and art is just like a way of expressing myself. But, you know, playing gigs is a different instance. I think, you know, I love the thought of jumping up and, you know, playing and going absolutely ballistic, and just like having that enjoyment that, you know, you're on stage, you're sharing your music, other people enjoying your music, you're sharing your passion, and it gives other people joy to come to a gig and see people play and also see that you're enjoying themselves. Like most of the comments that I get after gigs is like, I love how you were just up there like having the time of your life. You know, it made me have the time of my life as well. I think, yeah, I think a lot of my creativity comes from, yeah. Are you crying?
No, I just had a bug fly in my nose.
I was like, what? Eyes are watering. I was like, I don't think I'm that emotional. But okay.
I was trying to be subtle about it, but it fully went straight up my nose.
And your eyes like started to water a little bit. I was like, gee.
I'm good now. I think the bug is
Okay.
gone.
But yeah, no, I think my creativity just stems a lot from my emotions.
Do you find it's easier to express yourself through art? Could that be why you've decided to keep doing both, side by side, drumming, music and art?
Yes, definitely is a way of expressing myself. Is very, I think, also it is a little bit scary. It's kind of like that factor that's helped me kind of come out of my shell a little bit, because I used to be a really, really shy kid. Also, just going around and talking to heaps of people now, and my lovely ADHD just likes to take over. So I guess it's getting better. But no, it's definitely made me come out of my shell a little bit, because art is very like personal and it's very like out there in your face. So you can't really hide from it. It's like you either do it or you don't. You know, people are going to look at it and interpret it in their own way, but in the end it's like you're sharing your absolute raw emotions into it. So I think that's definitely, I have kept it for that reason, but also it's made me a little bit more, I guess, like confident as a person, because now I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
You were telling us a story right before we started recording about your first show, or your first gig.
Oh.
Can you talk a little bit about what your first live gig was like?
My first live gig was with a band called Sora Snow. She had to go.
Hang on, wait. What?
Sora
Snow.
Snow.
S-O-R-A?
Yes.
Okay.
H.
Sora
Sora.
Snow.
Yeah, she.
Thought it was like you've seen a snowflake. That's what I thought it
That's
was.
what I was double checking.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, carry on.
Yeah, unfortunately, she had to go back to Netherlands because that's where she was from. Obviously, with COVID and things like that, had to go back. And her Australian work visa expired, so she had to go to New Zealand first.
Love it.
But obviously, she was the first band I was ever with. And I remember our first gig was at Tomcat. This is the first time I've ever been to like Brisbane as well. I was a little baby. My dad came as well because I had no way again there. But I was playing I was really, really nervous because I was like, this is a big stage and it's late at night. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, I've never been in bed this late. And now I see myself and I go to bed at like 4 a.m. I see the sunrise. I'm like, yeah, cool. I do it all the time.
Bedtime.
Yeah. Gigs have screwed up my bedtime schedule by a lot. But yes, anyways. So yeah, I was playing that and we kind of got like 3/4 through the set and I was like really sweating by that stage as well because Tomcat did not have any fans or aircon at that stage. Now they do, but like absolutely sweating. I think it was in summer as well to make it even worse. And like we got through a really, really fast part of the song and all of a sudden I like go to hit a cymbal, stick just goes absolutely flying, literally just like almost clips Kayla's ear. And then after we finished that song, she turns to me and she's like, "Did your drumstick just go past my face?" I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I almost hit you. She's like, "Yeah, it scared the daylights out of me." And I'm like, it went into the crowd. Like it just kind of like fell at the end of the stage and kind of just rolled off, luckily.
You didn't take someone's eye out with it?
No, I've had a few instances where I have like gone to chuck it in the crowd, then I'm like, please don't hit anyone in the eye, and I hope it doesn't, but it just lands and someone catches it. So I only did that if I break a stick.
That's some real rock star type level stuff.
Hey, I don't want a broken stick. What am I going to have use for it? Someone else can enjoy it.
You make a pretty art collage out
Yeah,
of it.
I thought that when I was 16, I thought that'd be so cool to like make some kind of like broken drumstick lamp, and I was like, right now I'm just collecting so many drumsticks, like broken drumsticks. It's literally just wooden crap.
You could have a sick bonfire.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't have fire pit at that stage, so where am I going to have bonfire?
Okay, yeah, right, fair enough. Just peg them into the
Yeah.
I understand now. Just peg them into the crowd.
So I was like, someone else can have it. And everyone else have gotten it. It's like, yeah, this is so cool. Can you sign it? I'm like, yeah, okay, as a joke, but you know.
Now I want to sign. Now
I
I
wanna
want to
sign
Can we get
broken
signed
stick.
sticks?
Come to a show and I'll chuck you a breaker.
Oh, well, we
Oh.
were at the show and you gave it to someone else, so.
Hey, I just, oh, wait, who did I give it to?
I don't know.
I
That was a
can't
cool show,
remember.
though.
I did, yeah,
Did you
break.
break a stick at that show?
Oh, I pretty much broke a stick at every show.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I had
Every
no
headline
idea.
show, I swear I break it. Yeah, actually, the last 3 headline shows, I broke a stick.
Because you go too hard.
Yeah, you just get really into it and you're like, yeah, this is cool. And then halfway through, you're like, oh, wait, where's half my stick? And then you got to keep going through the set like with half a broken stick, because most of the time it's the songs that don't have a break and you just keep going. And I'm like, out of all the songs, everyone has like a little pause or something where you just like, and then you go back into it, and that could be like the stage where I just grab another one and I just chuck it behind me. But it's always the song that's just like full stop, and I'm like, I don't have time to grab another stick. I'll just play with like this much
That's a
of
little
a stick.
stub.
Yeah, it's a little stub, and it's the hardest thing in my life. So they're the scary moments. It's either A, when you break a stick, or B, you drop a stick. Dropping sticks more heartbreaking.
Dropping half broken sticks. That's when you start having a real problem.
Oh, I had a memory that came back just then.
Go on,
I've
what
had
happened?
Yeah, go on.
both in one session. So I was playing in school, and I was playing Everlong by Foo Fighters for like Mother's Day or something. I don't know what it was.
That feels like a weird choice for Mother's Day.
Foo Fighters for
Hey,
Mother's Day.
everyone else was playing like really cool songs, and every time like school asked me to play, I was like, I'm not gonna play like some genuine, like I don't know, like really obvious song. I don't know if it was Mother's Day, it was Open Day, I don't know. Something one of those. Father's Day, don't care. There was too many of them.
Too many days.
Too many days. And I was playing Everlong. Oh, it was actually in my final year. I was in year 12 because we had a new music teacher, and I remember he was only there my last year. And halfway through, I had like a little bit of a split in the drumstick, and I was like, it's not going to break. It's okay. It's just like a little bit of a split. Halfway through, it cracks. I go to do a fill, and the crack gets stuck between the tom. Like, and it just breaks the stick open and flings it out, and now I just have no stick. So I'm just like playing with one hand at this stage in Everlong, and I'm like, I'm struggling right now. So I had to like quickly grab another one, get back to it. No one knew. No one like knew except for the music teacher standing right next to me, and he panicked and like sprinted out to go get that stick. And I was like, dude, it's okay. I got the spares for a reason. And I just remember I kept playing and no one knew. Like, I even went to Dad, and he's like very, very critical. He's very honest, which is good, because like if I do a shit job, he's like, yeah, you could have done that better, or you could have practiced more. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
The honesty's good though, it helps. But yeah, my music teacher tried to give my drumstick back to me while I was in the middle playing, and I was like, I'm not taking this, I can't. So yeah, that's the scary moment. That's the scariest one I've had, where you have both in one.
So we're going to have to wrap up soon. The time's getting on. But is there anything in the show that we haven't spoke about, or something you wish we'd spoken about? Or a story you wish you could have told, or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't really think about that stuff, eh? I just ramble.
You're good? We love rambles.
Like ramble.
If nothing comes out, that's all good. You don't have to have anything.
Yeah, I never really think about that. I probably should.
It's fine. Well then, this is the last question.
Okay.
What would your advice be to someone who is thinking about or is just starting? You kind of have a 2-in-1 because you have 2 careers. Who is just thinking about or just starting a career in drumming, or someone who's just starting a career in art?
I love this question because it's always the end question. So you always, like when you're driving here, you always got to be like, okay, what advice am I going to give? Because anyone who asks you to go on an interview, it's always the last question.
Yes.
It's a wrap-up.
Good.
It's the ideal wrap-up question.
It is the ideal wrap-up question. I think my advice, like personally, would just be do it. The more you sit on it and you think, oh, maybe I should do this and this and this, and oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, just literally just do it. Get started, because your biggest, like the hardest thing that I think that everyone thinks is like starting it, it's the biggest like block. And it's the most scariest thing to do, is just starting it, because most of the time people think, oh, okay, what if this happens, or what if this happens, or, you know, this bad thing happens, or maybe I should plan for that. Just jump into it. Like, that's what I did with my social media. I just started it. I was like, I didn't expect to go anywhere. I was just like, Sebs, you know, I'll just start it, see what happens. And I'm thankful I didn't overthink it. And same with art. Like, you see heaps of good artists and you're like, oh, maybe I should improve my skill before I start. Literally just start it, because people like seeing your progress as well. And you're going to get better the more you practice your things. And it's a skill, you know, it's a skill for everything. Same with drums. Jump into it. Literally, that's that's my own advice. Just like, get over your fear and just start it today. Don't think you're going to do it. Like, it's the same with like anything. Like, you think, oh yeah, I'll go start the gym, but I'll start it next Monday, and then you never do it. Just start it on the day. I think that's like, and I still have to keep telling myself that though, because I've only just started like teaching drums, and I still had that mentality. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this, this, and this, and then I'll start it. And my drum teacher was just like, listen to your own words, just start it and do it now. And I'm like, but I don't think I'm ready. Like, I don't know if I'm as good of a drum teacher. And he's like, you're a good drummer. You know, you'll learn to teach along the way. You'll learn those skills and you'll pick it up. So, and that's what I've done, and I'm still terrified. But I'm happy I started it, because, you know, I'll keep learning as an individual. And I think that's with anything you do, really. You're gonna keep progressing, whether it's it's an artist or a musician or anything you want to do, really. So I think that's my biggest one.
I enjoyed that very much. Where can people find you? And all your bands, or whatever you want to plug.
Well, all my bands pretty much is the band name: Dizzy Days, Lounge, Happy Valley, and Staples. And then you can find me under my name as well, which is Mikaela Swan It's very hard to spell because no one ever spells it right.
Mikaela.
It's Mikaela.
Yeah, Mikaela Swan.
But that's pretty much all my handles. Yeah, they're all Mikaela Swan. So
Awesome. It'll all be linked as well.
Great.
We have our little tradition at the end of the show. What'll happen is I'm going to do the outro, and then I'm going to say bye. Joe's going to say bye, and then you're going to say bye, and then you get to press this little maroon button, and that's our outro song.
is it a siren? Oh.
No, it's not a siren.
Damn
Sorry.
it.
Would be cool though. Should get that sound. No,
Everyone
we would
has
abuse it. We would absolutely abuse it.
Hey, if I come on here again, I have to see that sirens.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I'd probably
Done.
press it every 5 minutes.
Deal.
I'd be like,
Deal. Done. All right. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of The Froe Show. We hope you had a good time. Go check out Mikaela on all of our social media and go check out her bands. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Also, rate us on Spotify. Bye.
Bye.
bah. Wait, I'm going to press the button.
Are you going to... There you go.
There it is.
It's playing. I think the speaker's just not working. Every week. It's like the speaker turns itself off. Well done. You crushed that. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Wait, the microphone's still on?
Yes.
You should include this in your BTS.